Hi, in today's lesson we are going to be covering columns and tabs. Now you might ask yourself, why columns and why tabs? Columns can be used to type a newsletter or an article for a magazine, and tabs let you line up specific points in a document. I'm going to start with showing you how to do columns. Now, just as before you can change text, you need to highlight the text. So I've highlighted this paragraph. We are going to work in the page layout tab and in the page setup group. So in the page setup group, I'm going to click on the arrow next to columns, and I'm going to go down to more columns. In the columns dialog box that opens, you have a choice of how many columns you want to use. You can choose the widths of your columns, and you can choose whether or not you want a line between your columns. Okay, so I'm going to choose 2 columns. You can change the spacing between your columns if you wanted to. I'm just going to change it to 1.5. And I am going to choose a line between the columns, and then I'm going to say OK. And you can see that it's put my selected text into 2 columns. It works very similarly in OpenOffice. I'm going to highlight the text I want to put into columns. I'm going to go to Format, Page, and I'm going to choose the Columns tab. Again, I get to choose how many columns I want. I'm going to choose 2 columns. And I also have a choice of changing the spacing, or I can choose auto width. I also have a choice of whether or not I want to put a line. So I'm going to choose a line, and I'm going to say OK. And it's put the highlighted text into 2 columns. That was pretty simple. I'm now going to go and show you how to do tabs. Now, there are 2 ways of setting tabs. The first way is just by clicking the tab point that you want on the ruler. But the better way of doing it is using the Home tab and the Paragraph group. So I'm going to click on the drop-down arrow in the Paragraph group. And then right at the bottom in the left-hand corner, I'm going to click on Tabs. The Tab dialog box is open, and it lets me choose where I want to put my tabs. So I am going to choose 1.5. And then it allows me to choose what kind of tab I want. Do I want a left tab? Do I want a center tab? A right aligned tab? A decimal tab? Or a bar tab? I am going to choose a left tab, and then I'm going to choose Set. I'm going to set another tab at 7 centimeters. This time I'm going to choose a center tab. I'm going to go back to my tab stop position over here, and I'm going to set a tab at 10 centimeters. This time I am going to choose a right tab. I'm going to say OK, set, and then OK. And then if I had to use my tab key, you will see immediately where my tabs are going. So if I had to type in name, surname, and address, it types the words in according to where the tab is and according to the alignment of the tab. Okay, you can see on your ruler, here's a left tab, here's a center tab, and here is a right tab. And it's just as easy to get rid of the tabs. You just literally have to click on them and drag them off the ruler, and they disappear. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that in OpenOffice. Okay, I'm going to go to Format, and in Format I am going to choose Paragraph, and I am going to click on the Tabs tab, and just like Word, it gives me a choice of a left, right, center, or decimal tab. I'm going to choose a left tab, and it lets me choose where I want to put it. So I am going to choose a 1 for the left, and I'm going to say OK. And if I press my tab key, you will see it takes me to where I had set the tab at 1 inch. Now if I had to start typing, it lines up my text with the left-hand tab. In Microsoft Word and in OpenOffice, you have a choice of setting a leader tab. Now a leader tab is either a solid line or a dotted line that allows your eye to follow to where the tab is set. You see a lot of leader tabs when people create indexes or table of contents. So to set a leader tab is just as easy as setting a normal tab. We're going to go to paragraph. We are going to choose tabs. I'm going to set my tab stop at 2 and I'm going to make it a left tab. I'm going to go back to my left tab and I am going to choose 10, and this time I am choosing a right leader tab and I'll choose a dotted line and I'm going to say OK. So if I go and type in chapter 1 and I press the tab key, you can see that it gives you a dotted line all the way to where page 1 is. It also helps to do leader tabs when you are typing out a form for people to fill in. It's a lot quicker to press the tab key and get a line than it is to use the shift key and your hyphen. So in OpenOffice, it's very similar. I'm going to go back to format and paragraph. I'm still in my tabs. I am going to keep the left tab there and I am going to change it to 2. And this time I'm going to choose a leader tab and I'm going to say OK. So now if I tab to my left tab and then it lets me type in the page. And that's the end of our columns and tabs lesson. Go and practice a lot. Until I see you next time. Bye.